Welcome back to the Hit in the Turnbuckle podcast. It is NWA Hard Times, the finale. And as you can see, if you are watching on YouTube or if you are watching on Spotify, you won't be able to hear her this week. And we also can't see her this week. My NWA co-host, Miss Fiona Loughran, is playing with the ponies in Shetland on some wrestling-related business. But never fear, NWA fans, Fiona will be back next week, and we'll be back next week, of course, but we don't know how much longer we'll be able to continue to do the NWA Power reviews. That is because, of course, NWA has a new home in the States. It's on Roku, for those of you that don't know, on the Wrestling Channel on Roku. So if you're in the States, congratulations, you get to watch it. Everywhere else, we're pretty screwed right now. But we've still got a few weeks, so we're going to make the most of this, and we're going to make the most of the Hard Times finale. Two, not one, two championship matches on the line. And before we get to that, Powerr started at downtown Dauphin. Oh, I'm going to miss this next week when it's not happening. This week, Latimer is downtown ahead of his big match with Carson Drake for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And Latimer, saying how beautiful Dauphin is and how famous it is for peanuts. And then he decided to call the Slime Ballz and Carson Drake peanuts. But Latimer still was adamant he was going to retain the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in the main event against Carson Drake. We will see very, very shortly. But the action begins. And it wasn't just a match for the World Tag Team Championships. Oh, no, sir. It was a ladder match for the World Tag Team Championship. Now, those of you that have followed the story on the NWA will know the Slime Ballz beat Mike Knox to get not one, but two opportunities at the Tag Team Championships. And one of them they were unsuccessful with. And this one they wanted to do in ladder match rules. Now, I'm not sure if Cole Davis got the memo. The ladders were outside of the ring and everywhere. But he says this match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit and is a ladder match. Well, if you know your wrestling, you will know that a ladder match doesn't have pinfalls in it, Carl. I'm not sure what you were thinking of there, my friend. But nevertheless, the Slime Ballz against Knox and Murdoch, it had everything. It had tables, ladders, chairs, oh my, baking trays, Singapore canes. I will say this, though. It was probably one of the most one-sided ladder matches I've ever seen in the history of wrestling, to be quite honest with you. The Slime Ballz got a little offense in there. There was even one point when Trevor Murdoch took out Mike Knox with the ladder himself when he's had it around his neck. But very minimal offense from the Slime Ballz on this. There was a high-low. There was power bombs through the table. There was some sick-looking, I say, baking tray shots from Murdoch. Maybe the Slime Ballz didn't vote for him in the presidential campaign that we had going on the NWA, and they tried to take it out on them. But Knox and Murdoch ferocious this week. Poor Slime Ballz, Sage and Rance. I don't know how they escaped this alive, but they did. They did it to say it took a power bomb for a table. It took a high-low on the outside of the ring, but Knox and Murdoch reign supreme and are still the NWA World Tag Team Champions as we go into the Crockett Cup. Now, as you know, with Fiona or not here, and there only been two matches this week on NWA, this review is going to be fairly short. Not because I want it to be, but just because I haven't got a co-host who's playing with ponies in Shetland, like I said earlier. So there's only one other match left, and there wasn't really any break in terms of storyline. It was just promotions of the territories, promotions of NWA 77, which is coming up next month in New York, and it was just also the Roku stuff. So in from there, though, we did see It's me, Carson Drake, ahead of his massive match with Thom Latimer. And Carson was in confident mood as ever because he says that nobody can beat him. And to be fair, recently Carson hasn't been beaten. That's why he won the Lucky Seven for the television championship, and he got to cash that Lucky Seven opportunity in against Latimer in the main event. And Carson Drake come out on his own, which, well, Slime Ballz were at this point probably being resuscitated backstage by the NWA medical staff after the ladder match. But Carson Drake and Thom Latimer went at it in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. And if you do like Thom Latimer, and there's no reason why you shouldn't like Thom Latimer, go into our special interviews playlist below, or NWA Spotlight playlist below, and you will see an interview with the man himself. It was very, very good. And thank you, Tom, for your time. But Latimer and Carson Drake went to war in this one. This one wasn't as as one-sided as the other title match was. This was a hotly contested NWA World Heavyweight Championship match between these two. And I think if it taught you anything, Carson Drake isn't just a silly dance. He isn't just a cocky character either. He is definitely, or he definitely belongs in the upper echelons of the NWA. He's proven in this match that he can go toe to toe with the very, very best in Thom Latimer. And during this match, Latimer seemed to tweak the knee, just celebrating on the middle rope there. And Carson Drake, using great ring awareness, great wrestling experience at such a young age, was targeting that leg for a long period of time during this match. And then all of a sudden, the Slime Ballz must have had the kiss of life because they came back out to cheer on Carson Drake and distract Latimer just a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, allowing Carson Drake to take control again. And very, very nearly pick up the victory with a massive spine buster in this. There was a lot of times when I thought it was over. Latimer hit Carson Drake with some big moves. Drake kicked out of them as well. As I said, Carson Drake is a stud blue chipper in NWA, and is certainly one that will be World Heavyweight Champion. But it ain't going to be tonight. No, sir, because Latimer finally hits the brighter side of suffering for the 1, 2, 3 and picks up the championship, or retains, sorry, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. But, and I say but because it hasn't finished there. Latimer was posing on the posts. The lights dimmed inside Dothan, Alabama. And when they reappeared, the man beast, the ECW legend, Rhino, was in the building. He spears the Slime Ballz. He spears Carson Bartholomew Drake, and he points at Thom Latimer as if to say, and I quote Goldberg, "You're next." And that's seemingly where we're going towards the Crockett Cup, with Rhino and Latimer on a collision course for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. Really fun NWA show this week. These two matches were brilliant for different reasons. There was not any storyline, so I'm assuming when we start next week, which will be one of our final weeks at the moment, we will be seeing new storylines. There'll be probably a continuation of the Page sister drama that's going on, and there'll be some new storylines starting within the NWA because we finished the latest set, really, to a degree anyway. Very, very much looking forward to the next set of NWA shows next week, which we will see on X. And you can see it at the moment. You can see the NWA on X. Just type in NWA. And the latest episode is always pinned to the top of the top of their post, I suppose, on there. But a very, very good fun episode of NWA this week. Extremely enjoyable. And like I said, Latimer's enemies have just gotten a slight bigger in the face of Rhino. But coming up on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, we are, of course, at Ignite Wrestling this weekend, breaking point ahead of the show of shows, the joint show of Ignite, Buckle Up Free, Bigger, Badder, Better, September 21st. Shenley Road tickets are already selling fast, and I don't even have to. You can call me a liar, but if you go to 96 Shenley Road on Eventbrite, you type in Buckle Up Free, there you will be able to see. Tickets went on sale 24 hours ago, and we're already nearly at 30-40 sold. So get in there quick, because the announcements we're going to be making over the next course of the next few weeks, that show will sell out. We're also going to be interviewing Headbanger Chaz coming up very soon. We're going to take him back through the Attitude Era years with Chaz, and have an enjoyable conversation with him soon. And former WWE Divas champion Layla will also be joining the show soon. Like I said, this was going to be a quick whistle stop because Miss Fiona Lochran isn't here this week. She'll be back next week. I'll be back next week, and I hope you'll be back next week too, as we continue our review of NWA Powerr. But you can follow us at HTT Buckle on X, at HTT Buckle on YouTube, and the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media networks. Until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.